You know, Fred's actually with a guy right now who's also behind the scenes, and you might know him from The Simpsons, Garfield, and King of the Hill. His name is Phil Roman. Check it out.
Tell me about this.
This is Bambi. That's what started it all. That's what got me into this business. That's what made me fall in love with animation. That one movie, the Disney movie, kind of changed my entire life. At the age of 11, I decided what I wanted to be the rest of my life. My mom took me and two of my younger brothers to a movie. And I remember walking to the theater and sitting inside that theater and watching these drawings come to life. You know, these images, the music, the sound, the emotion. I mean, it just totally just captured me. And so I started drawing Bambi, you know, just copying Bambi because I just liked that character. And making drawings on my binder at school and on any piece of paper I could find. I got a job at Disney's, you know, wow, you know, it's a big accomplishment. And so I started at Disney's in May of '55, and on an apprenticeship, you know, kind of like where they're testing you out. So I worked on the Mickey Mouse Club and Wonderful World Disney and Sleeping Beauty. So I got to be an assistant animator, but I wanted to be an animator. I wanted to actually make the characters move. And the way I looked around, there were so many people ahead of me, you know, with priorities, with seniority, that I figured it's going to be about 8 or 10 years before I get the opportunity. And so I quit. I got a job at MGM, working with Chuck Jones. You know, aside from doing my assistant work, I would do some animation. We would be looking at the dailies on the Moviola, and he'd say, "Who animated that?" I said, "I did." And he says, "You're not an assistant." He says, "You're an animator." and those words, you know, stuck in my mind when he said that, because to me, the greatest praise is when it's given by somebody you admire, you really respect. And Chuck, to me, was one of the great ones. So I got to work on Tom and Jerry shorts there. I worked on The Grinch That Stole Christmas. I worked on another Dr. Seuss project called Horton Hears the Who. The Charlie Brown specials that I directed. I animated, I directed, been involved in all kinds of levels of the production, but I'd never owned my own studio. And I figured, well, in 12 years, I'm going to be 65 years old. And I would hate to be at that point where I'm going to retire. And I can look back and say, you know, there's one thing I didn't do. You know, I wonder what it would have been like if I had had my own studio. So I figured, well, why not try it? You know, in January of '84, I opened up, you know, Film Roman. Our first project was a Garfield special, and that one special, Garfield in the Rough, won an Emmy. Each show has its own personality, its own look, its own identity, and I think it's very important for, like, there's Garfield, you know, there's The Simpsons, there's King of the Hill. The Simpsons has been a very important show to us. If a show is well written and well directed, you have good, strong characters, the audience will try it out and then come back. And I think that's the strength of, like, The Simpsons, which is now in its 10th year and still going strong. You know, it's still as funny or funnier as it was when it first came on.
How do you give back to the community?
The way I like to do it is helping kids. You know, helping kids have the opportunities that I didn't have. I get interns to come into the studio from different high schools around LA. We try them out like for about 2-3 months. And then we put them, if they're good, then we put them on production. And we have some interns now that are directors, assistant directors, and they really have developed tremendously, and they're enthusiastic and love being there. You might teach them how to draw, but you don't teach them the love of being an artist. This is the coup de resistance. The Grinch. He's a mean one, Mr. Awesome. Grinch. You work on projects, and you know, you're working on it, and it's just another project. But eventually, it's funny how some become classics, how it strikes a chord with the audience, and it just becomes a perennial thing that they show every year, and I just feel very, very privileged to have worked on it. One thing I found in the animation business, there's a lot of Hispanics. It's very Hispanic friendly. You're judged not by whether you're Hispanic or black or Asian or Anglo or female or what. The only thing you're judged by is how well can you draw. You know, that's it. I mean, that's a big equalizer.